Hello, everybody. Welcome to Midday Live with World Without Rule of Law. I try something different and come on the middle of the day today. Of course, I work second shift, so I'll be getting ready to go to work shortly, but I just wanted to pop in, and usually I do these late at night. I have to talk to Daniel from Daniel God is My Judge. I think we're going to be on Thursday night at 11:15 as well. Let's see. The other evening, when I was on, I attempted to show you some pictures of the renovation project in Southern Virginia. And it was, as always, a little technically challenging. And so I never really did get to show you any of the pictures. I did make a video with some of them, but I have some other ones. And I thought maybe I could just go over them quickly and we could talk about them if anybody had any interest in them. I'm working, but hey, Nina, how are you? I think I did, Nina. I think I did. As hard as it is to believe, I think I figured it out on my own. I'm going to actually try it here in a few minutes. I went into Google, and there's something called Google Slideshow, right? So I arranged them all in a slideshow. Actually, you know what? Why it's just me and you here. Maybe I'll attempt to see if I can do it. You can let me know. Of course, I got to find the chat. Can you see the picture on the screen of the pictures? And then let's see, can I interact with it? Maybe I got to put present. Okay. And that takes away the chat. So that's not going to help me either, is it? And here we go again. So I'm flipping through the pictures rather quickly here. But not only can't I see the chat, I don't know how to get back to the main screen. Oh, wait a second. There we go. All right, now let me see. You see my flag. Okay. Maybe I didn't figure it out. I hit present and it. Oh, you know what? Let me try one other thing. I didn't hit application window. All right. Now I think you see it, or I think you should see it. I don't know. And again, I got to find the chat. Let me do that. Thanks for bearing with me here. I only see your flag. I don't know if that's just changed in the last couple seconds. I actually have it set on autoplay here. Every time I click on it, I lose the... Yes, you do see it. You see the pictures. So now the only problem is if I try to stop the slideshow or advance them individually, anytime like that, I just stopped it, I lose the chat. Of course, I could always pull the chat up on my phone, I suppose. I'm going to try to do that. And for anybody who may be watching this in the future, I know Nina's the only viewer now. I do apologize, but I'm still trying to figure this out, and I'm trying to move it along quickly here and fluently, but then I'm not sure if that's always going to be possible either. Let's see. All right. Silence it. All right, I got the chat. All right, I see your photo. Can you split your screen? Not sure. I probably can, but I haven't figured it out yet. But what I have here, if you can let me know if you can see me manually moving the pictures. And then, Because what'll happen is, how did that happen? All right, can you split? Yeah, I'm not. I think I can, but I don't know. But the way it is now, I can work the screen here. Right? Are you seeing the pictures advance? There's one of me on the tractor. You can see. Yes, I can see you move the pictures. Great. So yeah, if I could learn how to split the screen, I could have the chat up here. But for now, I got my phone open with the chat, so I guess that kind of works. All right. So I'm going to zip back to the beginning here and just go through quickly. And I know I did make a video with some of these, but I don't have these early ones in there, right? So like this is now, can you see my pointer moving too? You know what? I'm going to turn on this because it's cool. Laser pointer. Can you see that red laser pointer, Nina, on the left of the screen? And if so, this wall here, and there was a wall right here, right? And this one had a little like 2.8 door, just an open doorway. And then over here, which is this one here, was a wall with an arch. So this wall, actually, this wall is gone in this picture. But right here, you can see it. So there was an open doorway. There was an, right here was the open doorway in the other one. And this, in the background here, which is this wall, I took down. This wall would just had an arch. Unfortunately, I should have got pictures of that and with the carpet, but when I closed and I got in there, I was in a super hurry to like get going, and I wasn't really thinking about filming it or taking pictures, so I just hurried right away. But there's some of the walls down, and there's the kitchen floor, and I pulled the stove out, and this was really the only cabinet. There was a hutch here, but you can see the ceilings, the old layout with the pass door and the paneling. This is old hardwood, which I toyed with the idea of, you know, redoing these, but I think we're just going to do this whole thing in tile, like all through here, all the same tile, and all the way back like into here, and then just to where it meets the bedrooms. Pretty sure that's the direction we're going in right now. It does open it up. Yeah, and then that's what we were going for. You know, we really wanted that open theme. So there's a pretty decent picture with all the walls down. We since, you know, the ceiling hadn't been gutted here, neither was any of these walls. So or this front wall. So we're maybe halfway or a little more through the demo at this point. And so there's my wife. She's helping sweep up and keeping the site clean. So again, in the end, we put two bigger windows here. We put a slider here, and we put another slider here. And there's already a French door on this east wall or south wall, but we replaced it because it was older and failing. Let's see. So there's the bedrooms. There's like in the living room, just a little bit closer. With this here, I don't know if you can see this hole here, but when you walk in, just before you walk in this bedroom door, if you take a left, you would go through a doorway here, which you really can't see. And there was an opening that leads into the cellar, but it had a real steep stairwell. It was like a ship stairwell. And it ended up against the back wall, like 6 inches from the back wall in the basement. So it's really hard. And we really don't have a lot of closet space. So in some of the newer pictures, I'll show you when we get to them, we framed and closed off this opening. And we're going to put a door in this bedroom. And this is going to be, although it's not huge, it's going to be like a walk-in closet. Actually a step-in closet. And Nina's saying that's a nice fireplace. Yeah, that fireplace has an old gas insert in it. I think we're going to take that out and turn it back to a regular fireplace. So again, there's the ceiling trusses, which we're going to take out. There's a hole that I repaired in the floor. This is where the cabinet was, and the sink had leaked, and all the plywood was delaminated and rotten. So I cut it out and just patched it. I just got to put that in there, but And there's the new kitchen divider wall. So it's going to be like our sink is going to be here and dishwasher. And then the fridge is going to go right in here somewhere. This window is actually closed over now because we're just going to have cabinets. It's so small. And with the rest of these rooms being open, we didn't feel that we needed the light coming from that window. It faces north, so we don't get a lot of real sun anyway there. A little bit in the afternoon, but we just felt that we were better off using the wall space for cabinets than a window. Now, if the walls, if these two walls right here were still completely up the way they were to the ceiling, we would never take out that window because it would make it like a cave in there. But because of the openness, again, I just felt we didn't need it. So there's a little different perspective of the dining area. Going back to the bedrooms, the bathroom is behind this wall. And then our stove is going to go here. And again, that whole open floor plan. So like this wall here is east. And my back is kind of to the this wall here is south. My back is to the east. The wall the fireplace on is the east wall. So we get a lot of sun through those sliders and those French doors. So here is the little window. I kind of got it painted out roughly where the window is going to be opened up to. Now in the next picture that shows the new window, it will also have the ceiling trusses pulled out. And I know it's smaller and a little bit distant, but there it is right there. And then here's a picture of the slider. There's all stuff piled against the side of it, but this is after we'd added the beams and opened the ceiling again. And then we put the slider to the left of the chimney. And I know that's not a very good picture of that. And then there's the chimney again and fireplace. You can see the old gas insert there. And again, this is the east wall. And we're going to have another slider. In the next picture, I believe it's going to show the other slider. And Nina's saying, you and Mrs. WWL are doing a great job. That's a lot of work. Well, thank you, Nina. Thank you. It is a lot of work. Actually, though, the demo is something that I was pretty comfortable with because it doesn't take a lot of like engineering or, it's just a lot of physical hard work. But it's, it is what it is. It's not like putting it back together and, coordinating all the steps of what has to go first. And that's a little more challenging for me. And it takes more skill, most of it. So I did the electrical pretty quickly. I'm like 80% done with that. But the rest of it, it goes a lot slower because of that. So there's kind of a picture of the east wall. Two pictures, right? They're separated, but the fireplace would be right here. You can see it here, and you can see a little bit of it here. I try to arrange the picture so the beam was almost kind of joined, not really, but you get the kind of general overlook of how that is. Now it's a rainy day, unfortunately, but that's looking east and into we have a couple peach trees, one here and one here, and then there's where the old garden was, and beyond that old garden is where I'm going to plant out. I've already begun to plant out my blackberry bush rose. I bet it will be awesome when it's done. I hope so, Nina. I know that you watched the video I made with my wife yesterday. I appreciate that. But we are in the process now of picking out the finishes and stuff. And so I'm a little out of my element there. I'll admit it. I do have some tastes and some things. I'll just say one thing. Throughout this whole big room, dining room and living room, and it's a lot of windows here, but I'm going to do like a pattern pine or a wainscoting, a chair rail, like roughly here, with pattern pine or wainscoting below it, and a sheetrock above it. And then on the rake of the ceiling, we're going to also put probably a southern yellow pine tongue and groove. And we'll stain it to match the pattern pine down here. So it'll be, from the chair rail down, it'll be wood, then it'll be sheetrock, then it'll be wood again. And the lady at Home Depot, who's like a design expert, was going over a few items with us. And I told her about that. She looked at me like I had 3 heads. She's like, that's not going to look good. And you really need to do away with the the pattern pine on the bottom or the wainscoting on the bottom. And I started thinking about it, and I'm like, no, it will look good. I mean, yeah, I'm not a design expert. She is, supposedly, but even so, doesn't it still just come down to a matter of taste? I did it in a previous house that I had, and I loved it. So she's wrong, basically, in my opinion. And so maybe technically I'm wrong. And even if 15 people or 115 people disagree with me, I can still like it and do it, right? Because that's taste. That's just a matter of individual taste. So maybe I don't share taste with the majority of people. But, here's the other thing. My wife thinks it's a good idea too. So no matter what, we're doing it. And there's kind of a more of the ceiling detail there. And I know these pictures most of them were in the video the other day. So there's the east yard, like looking outside from where the thing is. It comes down to you and your wife. Yeah, exactly. It comes down to my wife and I taste. You're right, Nina, and I think that's all that matters. You're absolutely right. I thank you for that. And it's a little daunting because when you get someone who's got 20 years design experience telling you that's the worst thing you could do, it makes you take pause and think about it. But then, after I did think about it, and like I said, I did it in a previous house I had and I liked it. So I just think it is going to work anyway, but whatever. So again, you can't really see, but this is the garden area. They had an old garden here. I think I'm going to move the greenhouse and garden onto the back lot, but right beyond it, there's maybe 30 or 40 feet to the fence line. And if we go this way, I can get 100 feet. It goes way off this picture, but I'm going to try to do 4 rows, 400-foot rows for now, blackberries and black raspberries. And then if everything goes well, I'm going to continue those onto the old garden area. So kind of a work in progress. If I can manage them and if I can get them to produce and if I can, if it's a success, then I'll do that. Hey, Ronaldo Rivera, he's saying, hi, hey, how's everything going? I missed a few live vids. Great to see you here, brother. Welcome aboard. I'm just showing some of the pictures. I know I did a video the other day with the homestead project, and some of these videos are from there, so they're redundant, but I've got some other ones too, and I just wanted to go into a little detail explanation of what I'm doing with them. Starting to set up my garden areas. Impossible chicken coop. Urban oasis. That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. I was toying with getting chickens too. And Living Traditions Homestead. I don't know if you guys have ever seen them or heard of them or saw their channel. They're a great couple, and they're doing homesteading. They were, I believe it was Arizona. They did urban homesteading, and they moved out to the Ozarks. And they're doing a series right now on raising rabbits. And I really like all their videos, but that rabbit series is pretty informative. And Sarah, the lady that she's doing she's the on-camera presence on most of those videos, most of those rabbit videos, all of them, I believe, actually. She's very articulate, and so and very knowledgeable. So she lays it out pretty easily to understand. And, from the looks of it, they're saying that rabbits are easier and more beneficial than chickens. I guess like beneficial in the aspect that they may be less expensive to raise, easier to deal with, and certain other things. So I'm actually thinking maybe of doing rabbits before chickens, and none of that will be, for a year or two down the road, because when I get in, the first thing I'm doing, I already started doing it, was setting up the blackberry bushes. And then I'm going to do the gardening. And so I'm going to go at least a whole year before I get any kind of animals, probably. Just because with finishing up the interior and the house, I can't do any animals till that's all done. So I just got too much on my plate. So there's just a flower bed, kind of like the border of that area, that little garden area. There's another, just another view of it, basically the same area. You can kind of, I guess you can't see. Yeah, let's see one T-post in the back where I did the berries. It's hard to see. Hey, Daniel, how's it going, brother? And Ronaldo's saying, thought about rabbits, but I wouldn't see them as food. Wild rabbits, yeah. Home raising, no. Well, you know what, Ronaldo, if you're considering it, and of course, I mean that's your decision how you want to proceed. If you are even or have ever even slightly considered it, I recommend going to Living Traditions Homestead and watching their series on raising rabbits. Very informative. And even if you still decide not to do it, you'll at least have a lot more information about it. So most of this again is still the same area, right? It's just different like views of it. And you can see in the back here, I got a couple plum trees and an apple tree. I got these 2 peach trees, and I started, I'm going to go back here. Started clearing this mess out here, and it's really tough. And again, I haven't had a lot of time to devote to the outside, but I uncovered a few peach trees. They're off camera to the left, but they were in that line, and they were probably around the maturity of these. But they just got overgrown and nothing's been trimmed. And that was another thing I wanted to mention, because when I did that video, I got a bunch of comments from people. Okay, so there's again, before the sliders were put in, there's the east side of the house, and the road is just down below this bank, just to give you a perspective. So a lot of people were saying, oh, you should try to prune the trees, the peach trees. And I'm gonna do that. I got 2 pictures in here because I pruned one last fall, and just as like an experiment. And of course, I have no idea what I'm doing, right? So when I pruned it, it looked like, oh man, this thing is like the Charlie Brown peach tree, you know what I mean? And I thought it was a disaster, but it had tons of foliage. And I got to talk to my neighbor, because I got a neighbor across the street who's helping me mow while I'm not there. And I told him, of course, whatever fruit this summer, the trees bared this summer, he was welcome to have it. And he did say that he got some peaches. And I'm not sure if he knows which tree I pruned, but when I get down there, I'm attempting to go down in October. I'm going to talk to him about it and see if that tree was one of the ones that produced or not. Interesting to know that. But I know he's been taking tons of mulberries out of there, and he took some tart cherries out of one of the tree, wild cherries, bunch of apples, some peaches. So we're gonna see, but anyway, I'm definitely gonna prune those peach trees. Here they are, before I take any of them out. Now this is the one that I pruned. So this is after I pruned it. I pruned it last fall. This is like the beginning of this summer. So you can see there's plenty of green on it. There weren't any peaches on any of these at that particular time. So again, I still don't know if it ever produced or not. So Ronaldo's saying, I just planted a fig tree and 3 palm trees. El Paso desert is hard to be a gardener. Oh, El Paso, huh? Yeah. Palm heart stew I saw in Deer Meat for Dinner channel. Huh. Yeah, fig tree. I wonder if I could grow fig trees in Virginia. See a lot of people down south doing them, right? I don't know. I'm up in the hills and we get some cold climates in the winter. I don't know if I can do it in that climate. It'd be interesting to find out, because I would like to do it if I could. I saw, was it? I don't remember who it was, but man, I saw somebody picking fresh figs, and boy, did they look good. So there's like in the same, where I was just standing looking at the peach trees, I was looking, I'm just going to go back for a second, like this is basically west, and that's the road, which is south. So this is looking mainly west, a little towards south. And so the next photo is I'm just basically turning 90 degrees and looking north. And there's that side property, and here's the back property line. It's in the trees a little bit, but not much. And this was all overgrown. You couldn't even walk in here all the way up. And my neighbor, he's just amazing. He has this old brush hog, and he's been mowing for me, and he just went like, so, so I mean, I talked to him in the beginning, and like I offered to pay him to mow, and he didn't even really want to take money, but we send him money to mow because obviously it's a big job. There's 2 acres, but he's just going so far above and beyond. I mean, a storm took a tree down. He cut it up and processed it. He brush hogged all this out. He burned a bunch of old, like, dilapidated junk dog houses that were in back. He's like the best neighbor you could ever have in the world. He's a great guy. So now here, this is last fall when I went down and when I pruned the peach trees, which I think is going to be coming up in the video, but this is back in that garden area. So I'm standing pretty much right in this area is where I planted out the blackberry bushes. And I believe this picture was taken like a day or 2 before I did that. And then, like I said, if I have success doing it in here, I think I'm going to get 4 rows going this way. 100 feet. I can go 100 feet, which is basically on this line right here. So it extends out like, all the way out to here. So from like here all the way in is 100 feet. So if I can do 4 rows or 5 rows, however I can get to that tree line, if I can manage those and they are successful, then I'm going to extend it into this old garden area. You have good neighbors, like you were saying about being friends with neighbors could be beneficial. Absolutely. Absolutely. Man, it already is beneficial because, I mean, he's been helping me and he's a great guy. And, I mean, I'll do anything for him. He's just a wonderful, wonderful neighbor. He's helped me so much. I can't even tell you. So there's the peach tree. Now, of course, this is in dormant season. So, this is before. You can see all the branch. This is the before picture of the tree. Here's the after picture. And again, I know it kind of blends with the one behind it, but if you look, I'm sure you can see it's basically just these, 4 or 5 branches that I kept. And so I stood back and I looked at it. I'm like, oh man, that thing, I mean, this doesn't look healthy, right? But yeah, it had plenty of foliage. So I don't know. Maybe there is hope for them. We're going to find out. Again, I had a lot of comments on it, and I definitely am not going to pull any of them out until after I know for sure. Now, again, here's that tree that I pruned. And this is in the summer, and you can see the foliage on it, the leaves and the greenery. So there's the 20 by 20 carport. The driveway comes, it's just gravel and, it's overgrown with grass. Comes from there out to the road. So there's another carport way in the back up here, which is 12 by 20. That's what I'm going to make my greenhouse out of. And actually, I should show you. I don't think I have a picture of that. And yeah, I don't. It's right up to the right off of there. But so if I had I'm going to scroll back here because I just wanted to show, like, right where I'm standing here is about where I plan to put the greenhouse. And that should give me pretty decent southern and eastern exposure. So what I'm going to do, and again, I don't have a picture of that carport, but it's just like that 20 by 20. It's an aluminum frame with corrugated metal panels running horizontally all the way from the ground up and over. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to strip off the metal frames. You can kind of see this one, right? It's not a very good picture of it, but it goes up like this. But this one's 20 feet wide by 20. The smaller one is 12 by 20. So I'm going to pull off the metal corrugated material, and I'm going to use that to make my raised beds. And then I'm going to frame in the gables. Put a door. I actually have an old French door that I took out of the house. I'm going to put in, and some windows or doors, whatever I can get. And I'm going to sheath the whole thing in Tuftex. So that's my plan. Fox Night Vision. How's it going, Tim? Just stopped in, getting ready to go into work. God bless you and yours. Thanks, buddy. Good to see you. Thanks for coming in. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to stay on very long because I'm going to be going in shortly myself. I'm just showing a little update on the project. And so there's the back of the house, obviously, right? Now, this is a big one of the other pictures shows it fully in the spring with all grapes, but again, this is fall, so it's dormant. But that's west. That's in the intros of some of my videos. I have a picture of the sunset, like an orange sunset. It was taken right there. So that's the west side of the property. Actually, I'll go back there for a second too. You can kind of see the driveway right here, right? And the carport is just off of the picture here, that big carport, just to give you a little perspective on it. Fox Vision saying, looking good, nice property. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. It's a lot of work. And it's a struggle for me because I can't wait to do the outside stuff. I can't wait to build the beds and work on the greenhouse and do everything I need to do out there. But yet I got this huge albatross around my neck on the interior renovation. And that needs to be done for us to move down there. So that's definitely got to take priority. JP, what's up, y'all? Hey, JP, good to see you. Welcome aboard. So again, that's the east yard. In this picture, you can see the road. There's where my neighbor lives over there. And really, there's only one other neighbor even in view of me, and he's down this way, down the hill a little bit. So it's very rural. And all the way around the back and this side, the east side is all farmland. That's it. That's all the pictures. So basically that's it. I mean, nothing earth shattering. A lot of those pictures I know were already, were already in my video the other day. And so mainly I wanted just to jump on today to try to go into it a little deeper, make a little video about it, and see if anybody was around to chat, if anybody had any questions or whatever, and to see if I could figure out how to do the slideshow, because I tried to do it online the other night on my live show, and then you feel like an idiot because you're sitting there for 15, 20 minutes trying to get it to work while there's people waiting. And so I wanted to try to do it today, and it appears that I can do it, but I can't. But I lost the chat, so I had to get on my phone to get the chat. So maybe I can figure that part of it out. Fox Night Vision saying, how many acres you got? I have 2 acres, 1.999 acres. So it's 2 acres, and it's almost kind of split in 2 lots, like the front and the back. But of course they're connected. But it's like an hourglass almost, and so talked about that in the video the other day with my wife too. When I introduced my wife there in the unscripted moment video, I really wanted to get like 3 to 5 acres, but the way this one was laid out, it was just perfect. We loved it, and because of the way it's laid out, 2 is enough. There's not neighbors encroaching. Like I said, I only have my neighbor across the street and one other neighbor across the street down the road, which I could see. On my side of the road, there's any neighbors like anywhere. To the left, I can go all the way down to the other road and not have any neighbors. And to the right, the road goes down for a few miles, but it's probably 4 miles to my next neighbor's house, and it's all just farmland. So 3 acres in Tennessee, that's awesome. That's great. Yeah, Tennessee is nice. My stepdaughter lives down there. She lives in Nashville, but it's beautiful down there. Very, very nice. And Tennessee is a nice place to live too, right? It's got, let's just say the politics is decent down there. I'm going to try to monetize this video, so I got to be very careful about the words I use, because You don't want to offend anybody or any potential advertisers. So Ronaldo, is it over? Yeah, the slideshow is over. You know what? I'm going to go back just to the beginning through it one more time. And I'll try not to say too much just to give you an overview. So again, east yard, facing west. There's a peach tree I pruned before and after. East yard again. That's the back lot all the way far north toward the end. There's almost that same view facing west, just with foliage. It's summer instead of fall, so you can see like their leaves are on the grapevines. Absolutely can't wait to get in there. And I know I talked about it once before, but it's hard because, it's a 9.5 hour ride. So to like get down there and work, I had a lot in Vermont previously, and had a little shack on there. It was 2 hours away. So, I could take a day off and drive up there and work and come back at night. 9.5 hours, 9 hours, 9.5 hours. It's not even like doable to go down for a long weekend, really. So I'm limited to my vacation time. So it's just, yeah, I don't know. It's just going slow, basically. And as I said, like before, Fox Night Vision's gotta head to work. All right, thanks for stopping in, Fox. Good to see you, brother. Being that it's the demo part of it went quick, like I said, because it's just labor. It doesn't take any, great feat of engineering or anything. You go in with a sledgehammer and a bar and you just rip things down and throw it in a dumpster. It's like, that's kind of I'm more of a broadsword than a fine scalpel, right? So that was kind of easy in one respect. It was mindless, let's just say that. But it wasn't easy. Physically, it was hard. And now the stuff I'm getting to maybe isn't quite as hard physically, but it involves planning, thought, it involves some engineering, some of it. And it has to happen in a certain sequence. So that's difficult for me as well. Because I've done electrical work and I kind of know that is okay. And I did most of the plumbing here, which is the first time. I didn't do the drains yet, but I did all the PEX and made up the manifolds, and that was pretty easy. But now that I'm into the rest of it, it's like, okay, so the insulation's probably next. I got to make sure all the wiring is done first. Then you look at the ceilings, the floors, everything else, like the mechanical systems that got to tie in. Everything's got to go in a certain order. And so you go down for a week, you get a plan of what you want to do, and then, you're 650 miles away from home. So something goes wrong or whatever, there's not a lot of resources. I don't have a lot of access to the internet. I have to drive off to get the internet. So I did do a phone tether one time, and I went live, and that worked, but my phone gets so hot I can barely hold it, and I know that's not good for it. So I'm limited onto the amount of internet I really have. But basically, that's it. It's just going to keep plugging away. I'm going to keep doing what I can, going when I can. I'm planning another trip in October. And so my friend Ray, he's a church builder, missionary. He goes around building churches, and he's helped me out quite a bit with the beams and putting in the doors and windows. So I'm hoping he's going to be available to go in October. If he is, then, maybe we'll make some more progress. If I go by myself, then the progress may not be as great, but it'll be what it can be. I'll get whatever I can done, and it's going to have to be good enough because, what else am I going to do? And I guess I got to finish up some more wiring and then maybe look at the insulation. So maybe I'll tackle that. When I go in October, I do have all summer, I've been starting like tip planting and taking cuttings from my blackberry bushes and my black raspberries. And so I want to really, I want to get those planted out, now before winter, like in the fall. Like if I go down in October, up here, that wouldn't be too early to do it. I think maybe down there that might not be ideal. Maybe I'd be better off waiting in November or December. But I think the next time I'm going after that is Christmas. And so then that might be too late because there might be snow by then. So in any case, whether it's ideal or not, I'm doing it Columbus Day week when I go down. And I'm going to try to plant out some of those rows of blackberries and black raspberries. I think I've got, oh, good night. I think I've got 16 starters ready to go. Now, the other thing is, if Ray and I go together, we're in the Tahoe, right? So we have to bring a certain amount of tools down. We have to bring, a cooler with food. We have to bring our gear, our clothes and whatnot. So there's not necessarily going to be room for 18 buckets of starter plants, but I'm going to get what I can, get them in the ground. Hopefully I'll get a dozen anyway. I might not even, who knows? We put our stuff in the car. There might not be room for any. But I really want to get going on and get some started down there because I want them to take so that in the spring I can start seeing some production on them. They're all from plants here, and they were cut. A lot of them were cut, and I'm going to try to pick through and grab the most mature ones. A lot of them were cut and started in buckets back in April, April, May, June. Well, I think I didn't do them when they were dormant, which I think probably is better. But like here, it's the ground's frozen. There's a foot of snow on the ground, and the following week it's 60 degrees. So I didn't really catch that period when I should have, but they were, blossoming. But you cut them small. You take a small cutting and you start it. And I've had a pretty good success rate with them rooting and taking. So I think that being the case, if I can get the ones that say May, June, whatever, the earlier ones in the season, now if I put them in the ground, by the time they pop out down there next May, they'll already be a year old. I don't think they probably won't produce next summer, but then that's okay too, but then the following summer, hopefully I'll be down there and then I'll have production on them. And that's kind of my plan. So it's not like a huge emergency, but it's a little time sensitive, and I kind of want to get them in the ground. At least that's my plan. So anybody else have any comments or questions or anything they want to say about it, or they love it, they hate it, they whatever? I think I'm still broadcasting. Seems like I'm talking to myself. I haven't seen any comments in a while. And that's okay. Maybe just people don't have anything to say. And I'll probably cut it off if that's the case because, well, thank you, Ronaldo. Thank you. At least now I know I'm still broadcasting. I like it a lot. That's great. I appreciate it, brother. I think this might be a good place to cut it off if nobody else has any questions or anything. I think I pretty much said what I had to say. I just want, like I said, I want to show those pictures, and I feel myself starting to ramble, and I want to try to avoid that. I also want to thank everybody, my subscribers that went on and commented on the video I made yesterday with my wife, because I've been trying to get her to come on a little more. You know, she's absolutely wonderful person. And I think that, you know, she's got such a warm spirit, and like, I think it would be great to have her more involved in the channel. And she works a lot, and like we're, you know, hardly ever even here together. So it's difficult, but I would love to get her to do a live show with me. And we had some good response to that video, so she might do it, because give her a little confidence, because I think she thought, like, you know, she was apprehensive of doing it a little bit, but she did. And so I thank everybody that commented about it on that video with her. And I don't know when we would be together to do a live show, but I think I'd like to try that with her. I think it'd be great. Hey, Lou, how's it going? Ronaldo, we'll have a good day, sir. Like the updates. Makes me motivated to get my area set up. Would be good to get her point of view. Yeah, I think so too. Thanks, Ronaldo. I appreciate that. You know, I know you mentioned like down in the desert, it's more difficult to grow stuff, you know, but on the other hand, like you can grow year round down there, right? So like that's nice too. So you could always bring in soil, right? I don't know if you can, how that all works down there. Or, I mean, it's so dry, would it just destroy any soil you brought in? Or, I don't know. The desert's interesting. And as I look at these like homesteading channels and stuff, you don't see a lot of people in the desert like doing that kind of stuff. Although there must be some, right? If you're good, you can. Yeah. So, well, I wish you luck too, Ronaldo. I think thanks for watching. Thanks for checking it out. And again, I guess this will be a good place to cut it off. Well, what's the direct sun kill? Yeah, the direct sun. Yeah, got to have the right soil. And the sun must bake the soil too, right? Oof. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you could put up some kind of shade, like cloth or something. Like instead of a greenhouse, you almost need a shade house, right? Like something like some kind of material, like a landscaping cloth or something that lets a little bit of sun through, but kind of softens it a little. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. Do you make videos, Ronaldo, of your stuff? I don't recall seeing your channel, but I'm gonna go look for it. If you do have one, I want to start checking it out. It'd be interesting to see what you're doing down there in the desert. So there's material that people use. Yeah, it costs a lot. Yeah. Yeah, what doesn't cost a lot, right? I started pricing those Tuftex panels for the greenhouse. Oh, manon. And like, so you can use that poly, but then there's a life expectancy. So you get to be a certain age. You don't want to be out there every 5 years, you know, replacing that, right? So I'm thinking make the investment, excuse me, in the Tuftex. And it's difficult because we're operating on a shoestring budget down there. But I saw Doug from Doug and Stacy, Off Grid with Doug and Stacy. He used Tuftex, and I mean, it could have been a commercial for Tuftex, because he's kneeling on one of the panels on the ground, smashing it as hard as he can with his hammer. And I mean, it didn't even have a stress crack in it or anything. So Tuftex is a good name for that stuff because it's pretty darn tough. So I think like it's more money, but you put it up and then you should be done, right? You shouldn't ever have to touch it the rest of your life. And I'm kind of hoping that's kind of the way I want to go. I can start making vids. Yeah, well, you know what, Ronaldo? You start making vids. Shoot me a message and let me know. Shoot me a private message and give me the link to your channel. I'd love to come on and be your first sub. Check it out. I wish you luck. And then thank you everybody for stopping in and checking it out. Again, thank you for the support and the comments you gave on the video I made with my wife. I appreciate it. And y'all have a good day. And I'll see you next time.